Yo, what's up, everybody? This your boy Big Hawk. Welcome to another episode of My Perspective Podcast. Check this out. I hope what I say resonate with you. I hope what I say provoke thought, and I hope it provoke change, man. But at the end of the day, if it don't, no harm, no foul. Guess what? It's just my perspective. You know what I'm saying? I'm just an old head who went and bought a microphone, who just want to share some experiences with you based on my eyes, my view, my lens of the world. That's just it. I hope what I say can change a few people's lives for the better. If not, hey man, take what I say with a grain of salt. You know, because this is how I see things. This is how I experience life for myself. Uh, Hopefully, sharing my experiences can help you avoid some of the pitfalls I made in life. Um, or so my experiences may be the missing link to help you get over the hump in your relationship. Either way, man, just take what I say with a grain of salt and hoping we can make the best of what we got going on in our lives when it pertains to our relationship. Y'all do me a favor before we get started. Hey, hit that subscribe button. Man, thank y'all. The subs is going up. Um, Boy, we almost hit the 100 sub mark. This is a great milestone for your boy. Y'all help me get there. Man, tell a friend to subscribe to the channel. Like my channel, share my channel, but also subscribe and engage in my channel so we can have that interaction back and forth. I'm all for it. I read the comments. I take constructive criticism, and I'm good with a little banter back and forth. It's all good. I don't take nothing serious, because at the end of the day, man, it's my opinion. I'm just speaking my opinion. Um, how I see life, how I view life, how I think life to be based on what I've been through. That's it. So, you know, don't hope. I hope I don't think what I'm saying is law, because it ain't law. It's just my truth, what I've known truth to be in my life, or what I've seen, how I've seen things play out in my life. That's it. So, man, yeah, that's just it. Thank y'all again, man, for another week rocking out with me. Hopefully, we can push this conversation forward about gender war, topics based on how a man think versus how a woman think. We definitely different, but man, we human. We are more alike than we are different, even though we have our distinct differences. I'm gonna stand on that. Um, but shoot, we handle things very, very similar in a lot of instances, whether we realize it or not. So I just like to point that out every chance I get. Um, so that's just it. But man, we're gonna get to it. We're gonna talk about today, man. The word. I mean, shit. My wife hates the word, but it's a necessary word, and it's a very, very, it's very, very important, even dangerous in relationships. And that word is trigger. Uh, y'all know what a trigger is. A trigger is a mechanism that sets off something. You know what I'm saying? Like a gun. A gun can't go off unless you squeeze the trigger. You know, a trigger is an object that has to be ignited or set off to create an event to happen. You know, you pull that trigger, that gun gonna shoot. But also in life, we have triggers as well. Um, Different events, different things, different events, a situation that has taken place or that will take place. But guess what, man? Within those events, something you could have seen or something you could have heard that could set off a chain reaction of a past trauma you may have been through. And it could reshape or rethink or repurpose your whole day without you even being aware of it. You know, this is what some of the things triggers do. Triggers just can make a happy day sad. I make a good day bad out of nowhere just because of a song, just because of a TV show, or just because of something your significant other, wife or child, girlfriend, boyfriend, what have you, may say. And they don't necessarily have to do it on purpose, but nevertheless, it affected you in a negative way because of some unresolved issue in your past or some unresolved trauma in your past, and it caused you to wreck your day or to have a minor setback in that within that day. And we're gonna just talk about how to overcome triggers. You can't really overcome them. You can't really avoid them because you don't know when they're gonna come out. You don't know what's gonna take place to trigger you. But shoot, they out there, they everywhere, and they pop out when you least expect it. What we have to do as individuals, man, is just be aware when we're triggered. That way, um, we can better handle ourselves when these situations arise. That's the challenging part. That's where you have to be really, really mature as an individual on both sides. As the person being triggered, it's a great thing to be aware of what's triggering you. Excuse me. It's very, very good when you're aware of what's triggering you and what's causing the trigger in your life. That way, now that you know certain things that set you off, you're better able to equip yourself or deal with it when it arises. But it's also good to let your significant other, whoever you're dealing with in the moment, I think it's good if you let them know, I just had a trigger, give me a moment. Hey, that was the trigger for me, give me a moment. To let your significant other or whoever you're dealing with know in the moment what you're going through so it can be short lived and processed as smoothly and as quickly as possible. Um, but yeah, that's what we're talking about today, triggers. Do you know what trigger you? Let me know in the comments. Are you aware of anything that triggers you? You could be triggered for anything. What I've noticed to be true about trigger, I wasn't aware of triggers at all. I never knew a trigger even existed until the death of my late fiance. Um, even when she passed, I didn't know nothing about triggers. I didn't discover what triggers were until my next relationship. Until my next relationship, um, I could just be having a bad day, don't even know why, and the whole time a song that came on that brought back some. Yeah, it could be good memories or bad memories, but due to the fact that she's no longer here, all that shit turned bad. So it could be a beautiful song. Just thinking about it reminds me of what I once had, right? And then all of a sudden, my day turned to shit. I'm not even aware of what's going on. I just know I'm having a bad day. But through the ups and downs of the new relationship and through going to therapy, I recognized and understood and began to understand and see what a trigger is and how triggers affect me. I can remember watching a TV show um, on Netflix. Man, I can't think of the name of that show. It was about a couple trying to live forever um, through video. Take all these pictures and make all these videos and of yourself and of your loved one who you with, so you can keep going even after your body has deceased, even after your demise. You still can have this video relationship or whatever. I wish I knew the name of the show, but I don't. It's a trigger for me. It messed me all up. Um, and my girlfriend at the time, she didn't know. She didn't have a clue. She didn't have a clue what was going on. And man, we was watching that show, and um, You had to die. You had to die in order to live on forever. So when the husband, when the girlfriend, when the boyfriend, he got killed. Got killed. For the experiment or whatever. And that shit, it did something to me. It was a graphic moment in the show. Man, it did something to me, man. Just all I can think of is I'll never see her again. It's over with. And I snap. I snap. Don't nobody want to see this shit. Blah blah. I just went off the deep end. She looking like, what a minute, what's wrong? What's going on? Blah blah blah. I couldn't even explain it other than nobody want to see this. People dying and shit. Man. They want to see somebody dying. Blah blah blah. And I went off, and she didn't even understand the trigger part of it at the time. But man, look here. God set me off uh, the wrong way, and it lasted for a minute too. But it wasn't until me going to therapy and just understanding some things, man. I wasn't able to deal with that too good. Even now, in my current relationship, like I'm wiser now. But you gotta grow to this point. That's why I'm an advocate of therapy, man. Like, ain't no bad thing to go find somebody to talk to. Man, go grab somebody to talk to. Kick the bobo with, because shit. Um, if you don't, you stuck in your own thoughts, trying to figure things out on your own, and you second guessing and third guessing yourself the whole while. Don't even know, not even sure what's really happening. So that's why therapy is good. But not only that, you get to understand and you get to point out and see where these triggers are coming from. That makes you better equipped and better aware on how to combat them and to disengage them, or diffuse them or whatever the case may be. Because knowing is half the battle, y'all. We know that. And all you're get understanding. Like when you understand what you're going through, number one, when you understand what you're going through, that means you're better equipped on how to handle what you're going through. And if you understand what may possibly trigger you, you can stay clear of certain things, certain outings, certain events, certain music, certain TV shows, certain conversations. To steer clear of, tread lightly with, so you won't get triggered. But even with all the things you've learned on how to avoid triggers, guess what? They still gonna come your way. You still gonna have them because they essentially come out of nowhere. They essentially come out of nowhere, and you be like, "Where the hell this come from? And why I just got mad all of a sudden about this?" Only to be reminded of something from your past that wasn't favorable for you. Because reality is this, family. We all done been through some shit. We all done been through some sort of trauma in our life, whether good or bad, whether long enduring or whether it was something short. But we all been through something negative, and there's always going to be something to remind you of the negative. That's why certain individuals won't talk to certain people because of a bad memory. You remind me of this. You remind me of that, and it wasn't pleasant. So I can't give you no conversation. You remind me of my ex. The ex my dog. So yeah, no, you look like the nigga that caused me pain. So no, I can't fool with you. I know you're not that guy, but your face bring back too much negative for me. I can't do it. Or you remind me of the female who dogged me, who mistreated me, who took my kindness for weakness. Um, I know you're not her, but your face, whew, your voice, it just do something to me, rub me the wrong way, so I can't do it. And it's okay if you can't do it. But the problem we're trying to overcome is discovering what triggers you. That's why communication is so vitally important in relationships. You have to be able to talk about any and everything that's meaningful in your relationship. Any and everything. I'm not talking about your whole phase you done been through in life. I'm not talking about the last 3 or 4 or 5 sexcapades you done been in. I'm not talking about none of that stuff. That stuff is fun. That's enjoyable to you, but it ain't gonna be enjoyable to the listening ear of your significant other. They don't want to hear that. What they do want to hear is what caused you this pain, so I can be better equipped to help you endure it, or so I can develop the patience to allow you to go through it effectively, so we can have healthy discourse, so we can have so I can help you be there for you while you go through the things you go through, while you deal with the things you deal with. Because I personally don't believe that a person will ever be 100% healed from their past. You know, people tell me uh, you should go get healed before you start dating. I don't necessarily believe that. Matter of fact, I vehemently disagree with that, um, because I feel like everybody needs somebody. I also feel like everybody is not equipped to be your safe space while you heal. So, but I do feel like your partner should be your safe space to heal, and vice versa. I do feel that way. But everybody ain't built for it. Everybody ain't equipped for it. So you gotta take your time, choose wisely when picking a spouse when you just recovered from a traumatic experience, primarily in a negative way, losing a loved one, or you and your forever person wasn't so forever after all. So yeah, it's just one of them deals where you have to just be on point and be real deal, like serious. And when you talking and when you engaging, with that potential love interest or your love interest, your partner, what have you, you can't be afraid to share your truth. You just can't be afraid to share your truth. And if they really with you for the long haul, they will allow you that time to process and to get over whatever said thing you're dealing with. And then they'll be more mindful of how they speak to you, what they say to you, and then which manner in which they say to talk to you. Because all this stuff is important when you're talking about being triggered. Um, um, Once again, I can just share my experiences on my late fiance. Um, the way she passed away was so all of a sudden, I felt like she was taken from me. Right? I almost felt I was so distraught and so like hurt about her passing. I always wondered, did she get tired of me and just choose? Did she choose death as opposed to fighting because I'm still gonna be here? I wonder all this stuff, and it negatively affects me. Um, um, yeah, these are things I think about that I never have an answer to. So guess what? Still to this day, um, 4 years later, I still have these moments. I hear the right song, I still may cry. So yeah, somebody said the wrong thing, I get a unit quick. But what I wasn't good at before of I wasn't aware of what was triggering me. So that was always a negative thing. But now I'm way better in seeing what triggers me or what caused me a trigger. Yeah. So and I'm better equipped to talk about it. Now, the problem you may run into is that your maturity level you on, your significant other may not be on that same maturity level. Unfortunately, it just kind of roll like that sometimes. But unfortunately, um, you don't have the same luxury of your spouse or your significant other maturing at the same pace you maturing in, and that's cool. You still want to have that open line of communication, so at least one of y'all to know what's going on, and hopefully that'll help the other person come around so it can be, to help you. Y'all can help one another in that to get over it and get through it because you done been through some past trauma. I done been through some past trauma. And guess what? Your significant other done been through some past trauma, just like my significant other has been through some past trauma. And for you to sit back and just to accept and just to think that your significant other is Superwoman or Superman, that ain't fair. It ain't fair at all. Nor should you even engage, even think that way. But sometimes we do. That's why it's so important. When you know better, you do better. When you discover what your triggers are or what causes you to be triggered, you're supposed to express that with your significant other so they'll be aware of what to say or what not to say or what to play or what not to play, things like that. It's not because you being selfish, it's because they're trying not to cause pain, even though it's not intentional. That's a good thing. But yeah, man, a trigger is it can happen so crazy, it can happen so easy. And next thing you know, boom, you done change your whole attitude. You could be at an event, having a good time, dressed to the nines, looking good, feeling good. Then boom, hear somebody say a quote, hear somebody play a song that, or somebody may say something aggressive that remind you of something negative you've been through that you had to endure adversely. Anything, and what you're hearing may not be coming from a negative space either. It's just the fact that what you heard was indicative of a negative space you was in at that particular time and place in your life, and it affects you adversely. It affects you negatively, and now you're reeling. You sit back. You're taking the back. And you trying to regather yourself to move forward. That's cool. It happens, but it's all how we handle it when we happen. That's why understanding what triggers are is so important. That's why knowing when you're being triggered is so important. That's why communicating that you're being triggered is so important. So you can have a healthy dialogue on how to move past it. It'll save you unnecessary arguments and headaches, all because you talking as if your partner already know what's going on. They may not know what's going on. But yeah, triggers are serious, man. They're serious. They're not. Uh, I don't think they're detrimental to a relationship, but they can be because number one, if you don't know how to handle your spouse and the triggers they may deal with, and you keep doing the same thing to get them off track, that may be too much for them to handle. So you have to be mindful of that. But that comes in with communication. If your spouse is dealing with some major issue, they have to tell you what's going on within them so you can um, be better equipped to take care of them and to prevent them and to shield them from triggering them in whatever way that could be. So that's it. And sometimes you could trigger a person with the best intentions. Sometimes you could trigger a person with the best intentions. I know for women, um, men who are protectors and who are big on protection and big on providing, they're very territorial about their family. Whether it's a new blended family or whether it's just them and their spouse, their significant other. Men are very territorial, so sometimes women see that as being controlling. And that could be a trigger because they may have had a real controlling person in their life once upon a time who really did control them, use the money to control them, use the business, use the kids, whatever the case may be, to control the situation and control the narrative they want to paint or want to create. So yeah, you have to be mindful. You have to be sensitive to your partner because my partner, Communication, she ain't that great at communicating. She's good at communicating, but she's verbally admitted, I'm slow to speak, just because of my upbringing, what I've had to deal with in my upbringing in my past. So I have to be mindful of that. Um, she also said, I thank you for helping me become a better communicator, but it's still a work in progress for me. So I can deal with that because we are work in progress. But yeah, like you have to be mindful of a lot of things. You have to be the bigger person in a lot of things, especially when a person don't know what's going on. Everybody don't know what set them off. Everybody don't know what brings that negative out of them. Everybody don't know that. So because everybody don't know that, guess what? You have to give them grace. Where you are already mature, you have to give them grace. And it's okay. Give them the grace they need. Give them the grace they need. It's cool. But you can't just be like, man, I got it all under control. Oh, she tripping. He tripping. I ain't got time for that. I need somebody on my level. Yeah, no, it don't work like that. You have to somebody has to be the bigger person, and somebody also has to have patience. It just is what it is. And if you ain't got that, you're gonna make it hard for you. You're gonna make it harder for your spouse. You're gonna make it harder for yourself in a relationship as a whole. That's what you're trying to avoid. You're trying to have peace in your relationship. You're trying to have the best relationship possible without all the goddamn headache and aggravation. And not knowing how to articulate, not knowing how to express yourself, that causes unnecessary aggravation, especially when it comes to trigger. Because if you're being triggered, but you don't know why, you don't know what's causing it, you can't explain yourself. So your boyfriend, your significant other, your girlfriend, excuse me, whoever the case may be, can can deal with you positively, deal with you moving forward. But if you don't know what's setting you off, you just know you're being set off. Now I got to be extra careful. I got to walk on eggshells to make sure I don't trigger you. But that's okay sometimes. You have to be that sensitive and that in tune with your partner to understand, but also to overcome these trials and tribulations. But because that's all they are at the end of the day. They're trials and tribulations. Can you overcome them? Oh, most definitely. Do it take time? Oh, most definitely. Do it take you being humbled? Oh, most definitely. Yeah. Is it humbling? Yes. You have to have patience. 100%. You can't just get mad one day and say, "Man, f this, I'm done. I did all I could do. I'm out." And if you say that, you got to mean it and don't look back. Because when you say that kind of stuff, go back and forth, back and forth. You're out, you're in, you're out, you're in, you're out, you're in. That waters down the bond in your relationship. And that just makes it easier and easier and easier to fail in your relationship. If you really want to leave, but you don't because you're in love, but you don't like what's happening, that's just adding an extra layer of a problem and extra layers to be triggered moving forward in a relationship. So don't say nothing you don't mean. Say what you mean and mean what you say. That's to help avoid the trigger. So if she making you mad or he making you mad to the point where you want to haul ass and just get away, man, don't say that unless you absolutely for sure 100%, because that's just gonna cause no problem in the relationship. You don't want that. You don't want no problem. You don't want no problem. You want your relationship to be as happy and as healthy as possible. Happiness, you're responsible for your own happiness. But healthiness, that's a team effort. That's a team effort. You have to be willing, and you have to be submissive enough, this men and women, to have the healthiest relationship possible. That means you can't do everything that come to your mind, fellas. I know you get the last word. I know what you say go. I get that. I co-sign all of that. But where the wisdom at? Where the wisdom at? You can't be like, man, the hell with the wisdom. What I say go. What you say does go. But if you ain't wise, what you say ain't gonna mean a hill of beans. Ain't gonna get your point. Not gonna get across because you ain't coming about it in the proper manner. That's healthy and conducive for proper communication. And proper communication is how you're going to overcome the triggers, to prevent the triggers and also overcome them in a peaceful and a timely manner. That's just it. So communication is the key and the catalyst to all of this. But if you're the mature person in your relationship and your partner is not, give them grace. And just, give them grace. But, I get it. All things, you can't be like, man, I did all I did all I could do. Shoot. I've done all I could do. Man, look here. If it's time to walk, you got to be willing to walk. You have to be willing to walk. And that's just it. So I'm saying be slow. I'm saying be slow to, talk that shit. And you don't mean what you say. Because all that back and forth just makes for a tougher time in your relationship. And you haven't addressed the triggers. And the triggers are easily to address and easy to correct. Not even correct, but to go through if you just got the patience. If you have the patience, not only patience, man, if you smart enough just to know when to be quiet. Sometimes it's just as easy as just being quiet. I apologize. Let it be that. Because if a person get triggered, 9 times out of 10, the best way to handle a trigger is to let them go through the motion, let them go through the process. Two people can argue. One person can't argue by themselves. When they find out they're arguing by themselves, guess what? They'll be quiet. Things dissipate rather quickly with no excess bull jive. So that's just it though. So make sure when you're talking and you're communicating that you're aware of these things because sometimes we're not even aware of what's being triggered. Sometimes we're not aware of it. We don't know where they come from, we don't know where they stem from. We thinking it's our significant other get on our goddamn nerves, and it ain't even that. It's something he or she may say that triggered a bad memory or a bad experience you had back in the day, whether recent or whether a long time ago, and you just think they get on your nerves. It's bigger than that. But when you know better, you do better. When you know better, communicate that with your significant other. And when you do better, you have to be willing to do better, even if your significant other is not there yet. You gotta have the patience and the humility to endure until they get on the same page you are. And that could be a challenge in and of itself, but it's worth it nonetheless. It's worth it nonetheless. If you know what you got at the end of the day is a great situation, it's worth it to go. It's worth it to endure. Because anything worth fighting for, anything worth having is worth fighting for. So it's worth the fight. I don't care what nobody else say. I don't care what nobody around me say about mine. If I feel like she worth it, I'm gonna endure whatever come with it to get the expected end result I'm looking for. That's just that. But in order to get that end goal, maturity has to come into place. Maturity has to come into play at some point in time in your life. You got to be mature, and you got to know when to be quiet. You got to know when to talk. It ain't what you say; it's how you say it. These are things to help avoid and to dissipate triggers more rapidly than just, oh, I'm the man. Can't nobody tell me what to do or say. I'm gonna keep talking the way I'm talking. She gotta just deal with it. He gotta just deal with it. That's gonna make for a bad relationship. We don't want that. We want bliss. We want laughter. We want love. We want nurture. We want infrastructure. We want building. We want alignment. We want to be on the same page. We want to know. We want to be so Trump tight to where if my wife speak, it's just as if I'm speaking, and vice versa. And that she could be way across yonder with her girlfriends talking about whatever, and they'll know I say the same thing. I could be way across town talking to my family members, my in-laws, my loved ones, or what have you, and they'll know that she feels the same way I feel. That's the goal you want to get to in life. But in order to get there, you got to overcome some things. And triggers, and what I've discovered, particularly in these last 4 years of my life, 3 years of my life, are triggers. And triggers make or break a relationship. Yeah. My last relationship, triggers ruined my relationship, caused the demise of my relationship. In the grand scheme of things, not in every aspect, but in the grand scheme of things, triggers and not knowing how to combat or overcome triggers was really the downfall of my last relationship. But because now I know better, I do better, I have more intestinal fortitude, and I know what I'm looking for in my now current relationship, my marriage now. And I know when she's triggered, I know how to pipe down, take a step back. Um, but when I'm triggered, I also, I had a moment. I had a moment. It's just like saying pineapples, the safe word. I just be like, that was a trigger. I just had a moment. Give me a minute. So now it's just like we're more cautious in what we say. Sometimes you feel like you're walking on eggshells, and that's okay. But then sometimes you gotta just be like, "This what this is. It is what it is," and you're gonna just move forward. But we just know how. You just know when to fold them. That's just it. That's just wisdom. That's just time. But if y'all locked in and y'all in tune with each other like y'all say y'all are, you'll pick it up rather quickly. You'll pick it up rather quickly, and you'll be able to express and expound upon uh, your daily triggers and your daily adversities, the things that may trigger you. And as long as y'all communicating about it, y'all overcome it. Y'all overcome it quickly. You'll overcome it quickly, and that's what you want. At the end of the day, is to get past it, to go on to the next. Go on with your life in a positive manner, and not be stuck fussing and arguing about something that neither one of y'all had nothing to do with. Just something that took place that came out of nowhere, because that's what triggers do. They come out of nowhere. They're not something you expect or you plan for. They happen out the blue, and that's just that. So guess what? We're gonna end it right there, man. I hope this helped. I hope it helped you, because I went through it the tough way. I went through it the long way. I went through it the hard way. I'm glad I'm at a space now where I'm better equipped for it. But it took me. It cost me a little bit. But I'm better for it today, and I'm happy about that. But shoot, still, man, it costs you. So just be mindful when you are triggered, and when you know you triggered, man, stop and without arguing, say, hey, this is a trigger for me, and especially in a good way, not a bad way, but in a good way. Hey, this is great. That was a trigger. Now I know what to expect. Moving forward, blah blah blah. And I could better, manage my emotions when I know what's triggering me. It's a good thing, and vice versa with your spouse, your significant other. They know what triggers you. They know what to say and what not to say. They know what not to say when they get agitated. Yeah, so it's a good thing when you discover it and when you share it. That's what it's all about. We're gonna end it right there, y'all. Man, I hope y'all get this, and let's learn how to avoid triggering our significant other, but also let's learn how to overcome triggers as soon as possible. Hey, like, share, subscribe to my channel, man. Let's get the subs up. We almost at 100. Y'all help your boy get over 100. Till next week, man. I love y'all. Peace.